morning, Writing 394. This is Professor Anderson with a little bit of insight into a couple of areas about our final writing project. So we are in week 5, and the rubber's really meeting the road right now. I know the stress you're feeling. So first, take a deep breath. We are all going to make it through this course. But I want to point you to some resources inside of week 5 that are very helpful strategies for planning, organizing, and delivering your writing. So the first of which is, as I pull up here, underneath of, here we go, wait a minute. Here is how to writing interview protocols and conducting interviews. What I like about this article and this quick read is, as my computer continues to be slow, it helps you to understand the various key terms and words required when writing interview questions, because you want to make certain that you are soliciting information that allows you to create qualitative research without biasing your pool of recipients. So, or in those that you're interviewing. So the problem here's where the real knife's edge is within interviews when you're talking about quality, like how someone feels or what they believe in with respect to a given topic. And it could be anything from as substantial as integrating digital media into everyday life to recycling. It can be a broad spectrum. So the problem is that you're asking for someone's feelings or someone's perception. That means the quality, how it is that they value or view a certain object. But in order to get a raw score, a very real understanding of that, you need to frame those questions so that you're not biasing the opinion, because you want to make sure that you get you have a great, a definitive line in the sand of how they interpret. So this article here, Writing Interview Protocols and Conducting Interviews, really helps you to understand how to write those questions or how to create them. I'm going to share with you one other thing about how to organize these types of surveys. So I've shared with you how much I love Google and how much I love Google Drive. And you can go into it, go to your mailbox, go to those magic 9 squares, go to Google Drive. So here are those magic 9 squares. You want to click on this one. You want to click on New and then go down to where it says More. And you want to create a Google form. Now this is a digital survey. And as soon as my computer allows it to come up, I will be able to show you what we're doing. This is those kind of surveys that you'll get inside of your email box. It says click yes or no, whatever you need to do. So here I want to create a test form. Except at this moment, I'm a test. A test form, and then I could just share underneath of here. This is the title of my survey, of my questionnaire, and on here I'm just going to say for my test form, sample to show Writing 394 how to use forms. So here I have question number 1. I can ask any type of question. Let's say what do you think about the color red? Okay, so I have various ways that I can ask this question, and I can ask it and I can receive answers in a host of ways. So let's say I wanted to have a multiple choice. I would allow option 1 is I love it. I'll pretend that what's that? There's an ice cream shop that says like it, love it, or something like that. I like it. I'm being very simplistic here. Or I don't have an opinion. So these are my 3 options that I'm allowed. Now, this is what I've done. I've created a question that when I present it, when I finish my form, I will be able to, my readers or those that are responding to my questionnaire will have these options. So I make this a required question because I want to make certain that it's included in my data, that it registers and is included in my data. So there's my first question. I'm going to use the same question. I'm going to show you how we might be able to do it in a different way. What is that question? What do you think about the color, oops, red? Okay, now this time this second question, remember I just added this little asterisk up here, tells me that it's a required question. This time I would like to have multiple check boxes. That means that they can check more than one box. So I would say, I like it, or what did I say first? I love it. I like it. I don't have an opinion, and it's simply okay. So those are my options, and they can select more than one. And I want this to be a required question too. This is just another way to ask a question. Let's ask that same question in another way, and let's say, what do you think about the color red? And this time I want to do a scale. I want to find a linear scale. So what it allows me to do is to label number one is do not like it at all, and this is love it. It is my favorite color. Okay, so on a scale of 1 being I do not like it at all, or 5, I love it, it's my favorite color, I'm going to have my responders note that. So I want to make this a required question too, also. And then let's ask that question one more way. What do you think about the color red? Now, this time I want someone to be able to respond, to give me a short answer or a paragraph form. So I'm just going to leave a box and they can free write whatever they would like. And I'm going to make that required question too. Now, I'm using the same question here simply to show you that I can ask a question in many different ways. I do not recommend you asking the same question in many different ways throughout your survey. But I wanted to show you that using Google Forms, you will be able to tailor a questionnaire to share with a host of your recipients or those that you hope to have in your survey pool. So then I want to take a look and see what it looks like. I use that little preview button, and here it is. So what do you think of the color red? I can answer. What do you think about it? Here's my scale question. This is my where I can write a short paragraph, and then I simply submit. Now, the cool thing about submitting this is when I go back, I can take a look. Do you see how I have questions? I'm building the questionnaire here, and then I have responses. Once I have responses inside of here, it will populate all of my data for me so that I can look quickly and see, like, out of 50 people who took this survey, 25 love red. Out of 50 people who took this survey, 30 have no opinion on red. So I'll be able to gather my data. It's compiled quickly. It is the same question. You don't have to worry about how you've interviewed, your voice inflection or anything like that that may persuade or sway the response of your recipient. So I'm just offering this as a suggestion. It's another tool in that awesome Google digital toolbox. It's right here. It's these magic 9 squares. Those Google apps are my favorite things. So this is just a way for you to be able to reach out to further recipients, or to reach out in a very concrete form. It's a clear survey, a clear questionnaire that you can deliver via email, and you can offer some time for your survey pool to respond to. When you just play around with some of these things, you can restrict it to UMUC domain users, or you can limit one response. You can take this restriction off, and you can make sure you collect email addresses. Just play around with some of these factors. I think that you'll find them all very useful.